In this video we're going to look at some data collected from multiple camera traps. First thing to do is to open the folder containing all the data, which is in a specified folder structure, which you can see here. All the individual cameras have to be one level below the parent, and the actual files are recorded in one level below that. Anyway, we'll select this particular folder, and it tells you that it's found 5 separate folders containing captionable files. We won't set these individually for the moment. So the first file image to appear is of the person walking away from the camera after he's changed the batteries. So the very first step is to have a look at the time profile of the data. So this now loads up, and you can see it has a stepped appearance. The data is collected over a period of a week. If we want to look at which photos, which images are present at particular times, if we choose a point on the profile and right click on it, you can see the image changes to show the selected folder. And in this case you can actually see a bird, a raven, approaching the baited trap. If we click on another location and right click on it, you can see that there's nothing there. And when we're looking at the time profile, if we click on the this arrow here, you can see that this moves the displayed image backwards and forwards one step at a time. The other thing we can do is, instead of looking at a line profile connecting each point, we can just look at the points themselves. And you can see that during the night there's very little data collected. You see there's midnight on one day, another day, another day. So not much activity at night, but quite a bit during the day. The next thing to do is to look at what Megadetector made of all of this information. So the very first thing we want to look at is a histogram of all of the values which were found. So we'll select the Megadetector output file, and shortly the histogram showing all the different values will appear. So here it is, shown as a cumulative percentage. If we go back to the regular count profile, we can see that the majority of files are actually empty. They didn't show any animals, but there's a very large number, about 8,000, which did show the presence of an animal. So if we go to the cumulative percentage, what we can do is choose a threshold value which will give us about an 80% chance of which will collect 80% of the values. So this is the range 0.9 to 1.0, and this also happens to be the default value for the confidence range which is shown. And so after we'd shown the histogram, this actually shows up. And so highlighted in blue here are all of the images where an animal is found, or multiple animals. Now on this graph we can actually zoom in, because animals usually appear in more than one frame. So to zoom in, we just click and drag, and you can see all the individual dots. If we right click here, you can see that in this case it has indeed picked up an animal which is highlighted in red. We'll now go back to the full display, and we'll say that we want to copy all of these files, all of these highlighted files marked with the blue dot, to a new folder. The default name is highlighted in the pictures folder, but this hasn't been created, so I'll have to create it, and we'll call it highlighted. Now if we select it, we'll now copy across all of the images which have been highlighted to this folder. And we've now finished copying, so all the files are now stored in the folder shown, and we're asked if we want to load these into Caption Pro for tagging. We'll say yes. Now the actual folders images are sorted by camera when they're copied across, but in this case we don't want to sort them individually. And so now we can see them. We'll close the time analysis screen because we've finished with that. So now we've got 4,000 folders with the in which Megadetector has detected the presence of an animal. So the first thing is to have a very quick look through all of these, and you can see that there are an awful lot of birds who are all happily eating the bait. So we'll now start the actual tagging process. So the first thing to do is to find, now we're going to want to tag a lot of files as being showing ravens. So we'll try and find where they go up to, and it's actually about just a bit further up from this. So we're moving through the files now. And there's a raven just trying to eat the very last bits. And still triggering the camera, which you can see is showing early evening. But now we've gone to night and we've got a different animal. So let's just go back. So the very last one we want to tag is file number 3973. So we'll go back to the start and we'll add raven as the animal we found. And off it goes. And it stops there. So if we move forward one frame, we can see that we've got a new animal now appearing at night, and it's a kangaroo. So let's add that to the presets. Just drag it across. And this isn't likely to hang around for as long as the ravens did, so we can just hit enter and that will be applied and carry on to the next one. So a few frames of a kangaroo. And away it goes. And in daytime another one comes back. And apply it by clicking enter. So and now we've got a goanna. And now we're back to a kangaroo again. And now we're back to a raven. Here's a goanna. And that, can't really tell what that is. I think it's a raven. That's certainly a raven. And that's the end. So we've now finished adding all of the tags to these images. Let's produce a summary. So we go to Analysis and click Summarize Tags. And we'll just get it loaded up, which will take a little while. So here's the tag summary showing all the animals that we've found and the number of images that they were found in, and also the duration, which you can see down at the bottom. So there's no camera name because we didn't ask for it, but there we have a summary of the number of all the animals which were found and the count, and these can be copied to the clipboard via these buttons and then pasted into any reports which have to be produced.